Does anyone remember the little green stickers that you would get in elementary school if you ate at school that would say, I need lunch money? I would get those all the time. Not because I needed lunch money, like I couldn't afford it, but because I would always take it off and forget to tell my parents that I needed it. And the lunch ladies would always let me pass. I remember this one instance where this kid had to actually put his lunch back because he didn't have enough money and he had to call his parents. And I was always wondering, that's interesting. Like, I just was wondering why that never happened to me. And I, of course, at such a young age, you don't realize it, but now it is such a big issue being turned away from school lunches because some people don't qualify for the free or reduced program, or, they just don't have enough money. And public schools are actually beginning to implement policies to alleviate the burden of hunger that it causes children and to give free lunches. Many kids in the U.S. struggle with not having an adequate amount of food most days. Many kids who are at the poverty level do not qualify for free lunch. In 2019, families who were struggling with poverty earned about $26,000 a year. 37 million people in the U.S. struggle with this, and 11 million of those people are kids. In 2014, schools had the opportunity to give free lunch to students. And instead of having them apply for it, if the poverty rate at the school was above 40%, Chalkbeat.org stated during the first 3 years of the program, it had an effect on raising the percentage of the kids in the state who are getting free or reduced lunch by only 2.3% points, from 51.2% in the old system to 53.5% under the new system. Now, while income affects if a child may eat during a day, having less meals also affects their learning. It is hard for you to focus whenever you're hungry. I know that if I have an 8 a.m. class and I don't eat, or even a 9 a.m. class, I am so focused on what I'm gonna eat, and I get grumpy and I get annoyed because you're just so focused on your stomach growling. And now try to imagine a kid who hasn't eaten the night before or breakfast and they're waiting for that one hot meal. Studies have shown that kids are more likely to act out and be disruptive if they haven't eaten. In 2018, Chalkbeat.org also conducted a study allowing the entire school to eat for free instead of restricting free lunch to those who families fill out forms can reduce the number of students who get suspended multiple times. It's the latest evidence that universal meal programs, which have also been linked to higher test scores and better health in research that helps students. There are also results that show that the chances of being suspended fell by 1/3% when they gave free lunch, and 1.5 in middle school, this may seem like very low numbers, but it is actually very good because these are kids who are getting a chance to stay in classes and be focused and healthy and not have to worry about when they're going to eat next. If kids aren't qualified or haven't filled out reduced free lunch forms, in many cases they're being turned away. Kids should not be held accountable for having to pay off debt of other kids. Schools need to make it easier for free and reduced lunches to be accessed. And no kid should be shamed or be turned away from not having enough food. Enjoy a hot meal. In June of 2019, a boy from Napa, California saw a story about a 5-year-old girl who was turned away from a school meal because of the debt she accrued. The child came home with $500 worth of lunch debt, and it enraged the 9-year-old boy. He wanted to do something about it. Excuse me. He started saving his allowance and wanted to and asked his mom to see how much of his class was in debt, and it was $74.50, which he raised successfully. He traded buying sports gear for himself to lift the financial burden of others. No kid should have to experience the embarrassment of being turned away. And they should not have to be shamed and watch other kids eat a hot meal while they sit in hunger. Free lunch for every kid is essential. It helps their mind, their body, and it keeps them healthy and keeps them active throughout the day. It makes their attention a lot better throughout the day so that they can learn and lead successful lives. And it not only gives a meal for those most in need, but it also helps kids stay on track and healthy.